Tom Washington was a Philly kid through and through, playing his high school ball at Edison, his college ball at Cheyney, and when it was time to go pro, the Pittsburgh Pipers were the most sensible option. Tom, or Trooper, had a very slight build for a power forward, standing at 6'7" and weighing just 215 pounds. But that really didn't matter, as it seemed like he was always in position to grab a board, as he gave his team plenty of second chances with his work on the offensive glass. He was a solid passer out of the post, and he could put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket. Tom didn't have a lot of range on his jumper, but he always took smart shots, leading the league in field goal percentage twice. He teamed up with Connie Hawkins to help the Pipers win the league's first championship in 1968, while earning an All-Star appearance the next season. He was the definition of a lunch pail player, not being afraid to do all the dirty work, making the plays that didn't show up in the box score. Welcome to PG Hoops, and this is another episode of ABA Tales. Tom Washington was born on April 21st, 1944 in Philly. After a solid career at Edison High, he stayed close to home, attending Division II Cheyney University. In his 4 years there, he averaged 18 points and 16 rebounds. He was drafted in the 5th round of the 1967 NBA draft by the Royals, but the timing was great, as the brand new ABA had a team not too far from him hosting tryouts. Tom earned his spot on the Pittsburgh Pipers, and while they had great players like Art Heyman, Charlie Williams, and Chico Vaughn, their superstar was Connie Hawkins. Tom would get minutes early on due to his elite hustle and rebounding. He was being brought along slowly, but he would drop 24 points and 18 rebounds against Kentucky, and 21 points and 12 rebounds the next game against Dallas. Once he got into a rhythm, he had a pretty nice stretch near the end of the season, going off for 31 points and 26 rebounds against the Pacers. Tom had 24 double-doubles, grabbing more than 20 rebounds in 7 of those games. He wasn't just 10th in rebounding, he led the league in field goal percentage. The Pipers had 3 20-point scorers, while Connie would lead the league in scoring, winning the MVP. Pittsburgh was one of the best teams in the league, finishing 54-24. Tom averaged 12 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 assists, as the Pipers faced the Pacers in the semifinals. Tom put up a double-double on 66% shooting in the 3-game sweep. They met the Muskies in the division finals, and Tom was unstoppable in the game too, dropping 26 points in an ABA playoff record 35 rebounds, with 17 of those coming on the offensive glass. Another record. The Pipers won in 5 games, faced the New Orleans Buccaneers in the first ABA finals. Tom played his role well, averaging 13 points and 16 rebounds on 50% shooting, as Pittsburgh won Game 7 to win the title in front of their home crowd. The Pipers moved to Minnesota in 1968, and Tom got more opportunities this year, as he even played center at times. He had 26 points and 22 rebounds in the 3rd game of the year, while grabbing a career-high 29 rebounds on January 24th against Miami. Once February came around, he was balling out, averaging 18 points and 14 rebounds. He had 41 double-doubles, ranking 4th in rebounding and 1st in defensive win shares, earning an All-Star appearance. But Connie went down with a serious knee injury, and this spelled doom for the team. Minnesota ran through 4 head coaches this year, finishing at 36-42, still enough for the playoffs. In his career season, Tom averaged 15 points, 13 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. The Pipers faced Miami in the semifinals, and Tom started out the series pretty well, as the teams were tied after 4. He couldn't find his shot after this, shooting under 32% in the last 3 games, as Miami won Game 7 to eliminate them. Connie was headed to the NBA in 1969, so they replaced him with Mike Lewis. They also added a solid guard from Toledo named John Brisker. With so many mouths to feed on this team, Tom's offensive role fluctuated, but he still put up his numbers, almost getting a triple-double against Indiana with 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. As Pittsburgh was losing money, they traded Tom to the Los Angeles Stars for Warren Davis. He averaged 11 points and 12 rebounds in his first month with the Stars, but as the season wore on, the improvements of Wayne Hightower and Willie Wise would eat into his minutes, and his numbers dipped a little. Tom was 16th in rebounding, but he led the league in field goal percentage again. The Stars' 43-41 record was just enough to sneak into the postseason, as between the two teams, Tom averaged 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. Once the playoffs came around, Tom was mainly a rebounder, as he scored in double digits once in the semifinals against Dallas, but he averaged 13 rebounds in the 6-game series win. Utah faced Denver in the division finals, as he dropped 11 points and 20 rebounds in Game 1, 9 points, 18 rebounds, and 7 assists in Game 3, and 14 points and 17 rebounds in Game 5. As the Stars made the finals, playing the Pacers, Tom shot 77% from the field in the championship series, but Indiana won in 6 games. Tom was on the move again, being traded with Matt Calvin to the Floridians for Donnie Freeman. Mack and Larry Jones formed one of the best scoring backcourts ever, while Tom continued to play his role. In addition to his rebounding, he was an underrated passer out of the post, and he would always look to kick the ball out to an open shooter off the offensive rebound, as he dropped 9 points, 13 rebounds, and 7 assists in the season opener. 2 games later, he only scored 5 points, but he grabbed 24 rebounds. In early January, he had a 3-game stretch, averaging 14 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists, shooting 72%. All in all, Tom had 16 double-doubles in 9 games with at least 5 assists. He did miss some time due to injuries, but the Floridians' backcourt carried them to a subpar 37-47 record. Tom averaged 9 points, 11 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. He wasn't 100% healthy for the playoffs against Kentucky, so he had a minimal role in the 6-game series loss. Tom would have yet another change of scenery, being sent to the Nets for a draft pick. They were led by Rick Barry and Bill Melchionni, so Tom would start at power forward besides Billy Waltz. With so many shooters around him, he was really stuffing the stat sheet, dropping 20 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists against Minnesota, 11 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists against Carolina, and 17 points, 19 rebounds, and 6 assists against the Cougars again. Tom had 23 double-doubles and 6 games with at least 5 assists. He was 18th in rebounding and 2nd in field goal percentage. Even with the elite play of Rick, the Nets barely finished over 500, but 44-40 got them in the playoffs. Tom averaged 11 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 2 assists on a career-high 57% shooting. In the first 2 games of the semifinals against Kentucky, he averaged 10 points, 8.5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3.5 steals. He kept up this production as the Nets got past the Colonels, facing the Squires in the division finals. Tom had 3 double-doubles in this series, as New York beat Virginia in 7. They faced the juggernaut Pacers in the finals, and while Tom put up his usual stats, the Pacers won the series in 5 games. Rick had to go back to the NBA in 1972, so George Carter was brought in to try and replace his scoring. Tom was still solid in his role, putting up 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists against Denver. On December 12th against Dallas, he only had 6 points, but he grabbed 13 rebounds and dished a career-high 13 assists. He had another solid game against Dallas again, with 20 points, 20 rebounds, and 5 assists. He dropped 12 double-doubles in 12 games with at least 5 assists, as the Nets as a whole had been struggling all year. But in the 10-team league, 30-54 was enough for a playoff spot, as Tom averaged 7 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 3 assists. The Nets faced the Cougars in the semifinals, but Tom had a very limited role in what would be a 5-game series loss for New York. Tom's contract was up heading into the 1973 season, and as the two sides failed to come to an agreement, Tom held out of training camp. But with the Nets signing Dr. J and Larry Keenan, they decided that Tom was expendable, so they released him. Tom would go on to play in a few minor leagues before retiring in 1979. In 2004, the NBA was revived as a semi-pro league, and Tom was hired to coach the Pennsylvania Pitbulls. But during his first game, he suddenly collapsed, dying of a heart attack. He was 60 years old. Tom Washington made the most of his undersized frame down low. He knew how to get in position for rebounds, especially on the offensive glass. He often did all the dirty work down low, giving 110% effort every time he was on the floor. He had solid court vision, being able to pass out of the post, while also having the skill to put the ball on the floor and drive to the hoop. He wasn't a perimeter defender or a rim protector, but he was a great disruptor on defense. Tom was someone who wasn't flashy, but a player that made the winning plays, as evidenced by his 3 trips to the ABA Finals. Trooper Washington was one of the most underrated ABA players ever, and he deserves his flowers for a solid career in the league with a multicolored ball. Thank you guys. I really appreciate y'all for the support. I read so much about this guy because I saw the name Trooper Washington. That name, I still haven't figured out where he got the Trooper name from. You're 6'7", getting 20 rebounds a game at 6'7" is crazy to me. He was a great player on the offensive glass. He was a great passer, just an all-out hustle guy. And anyone who can share the court and thrive alongside Connie Hawkins is a great player, man. I feel like he's almost like a Dennis Rodman type of player, like an undersized big who can really rebound, who can play some good defense. But shout out to Trooper Washington, RIP to you, man. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate y'all. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Turn my post notifications on if you haven't already. Thank you. Please be safe. Stay on the grind. I'm out. Peace.